today's project, I'm going to show you how to make these Dip Dye Denim shorts. So let's get started. I found these white denim shorts at Ross for only $8.99. They're 98% cotton and 2% spandex, so they're going to be perfect for this project. So right now I'm soaking them in hot water. They've already been washed, but I want to make sure that they're really ready to take on that dye, and soaking them in hot water, just making sure they're damp, will help the dye hold better. I'm filling my dye baths with hot water. I'm doing 3 different colors, so I'm going to use 3 separate dye baths. And we're going to be needing plain table salt, so we'll be using this a little bit. These are the dyes I'm using. They're Dylon. I'm using 3 different colors. So they call for 4 tablespoons of salt. So what I'm doing is pouring 4 tablespoons of salt into each of my dye baths. And the reason you use the salt is to help the fabric absorb the dye more effectively, and it really helps it to lock onto that fabric. So right now I'm just making sure that the salt's completely dissolved in each of my dye baths, and be sure to put on gloves because you don't want to get dye on your hands. I'm going to snip off a corner of the packet of dye. I'm starting with sunflower yellow, and I'm going to pour about half of the powder dye into my dye bath. And I'm just kind of not really, measuring out anything specifically. I'm just, kind of feeling the packet, and approximately half will do. So I'm just stirring this up, making sure that the dye is completely dissolved before I move on to the next dye bath. And you want to make sure it's dissolved because you don't want to have any crazy little grains getting stuck to your clothes or your fabric when you stick it in there, because then it'll make that spot extra dark and you don't want that. So again, I'm just pouring about half of the dye packet. This is the tulip red that I'm doing right now, and I'm just stirring that up. So I spend about a good solid minute stirring each of these dye baths, making sure that everything's well dissolved. And then this is Bahama Blue, and just doing the same thing here, just feeling about half the packet, pouring that into the dye bath and stirring for about a minute. Alright, we are ready to go. I'm starting with the lightest color first, which is my sunflower yellow. So I start by just dipping the end in, and then I go down about halfway, and then about 2/3 of the way. And you can see I'm dipping the shorts up and down, up and down. I'm not keeping them in one place for too long because I want a nice smooth gradients. I don't want it to have any harsh lines where the dye ends. So we're just going up and down. I do this for about 5 minutes, working that dye up and down. So just keep dipping your shorts into the dye bath until they're about the color you want. Remember, they're gonna appear darker when they're wet. So now I'm just wringing them out before I move on to the next color, which is my tulip red. And so I start by dipping the end in, and I want the top of my shorts to have the red. So I'm just keeping them in motion once again because I don't want those harsh lines. I want it to fade kind of from a red on the very top of the shorts to an orange, and then kind of a peachy color over the yellow. So we're dipping over the yellow. And you can see the gradients kind of starting to happen there. I'm keeping the top of the shorts, or the end of the shorts there, in the longest because I want that to be the most red or the darkest. And then I'm gently kind of wringing out some of that excess water before dipping into my Bahama Blue. So I'm dipping the end of the shorts, or the bottom of the shorts, into the Bahama Blue. So I want that end to have the blue on the bottom, and then I'm kind of dipping over that yellow. So it's going to have kind of a green also. So this is going to create a fun kind of rainbow gradients. So right now I'm just focused on keeping the bottom of the shorts, or that fringe of the shorts, in the blue dye the longest, so that'll be the bluest. And after we're done with that, once I'm happy with how the color looks, then I'm just going to lightly wring it out very carefully. And be careful here not to fling that dye onto other parts of your shorts. You want to keep it all separate. So I'm just going to carefully lay it out on this old towel. And now it's time to let the shorts dry overnight. So I found the best way to keep the colors from transferring from front to back, because you may not want that. You might want to put a plastic garbage bag in between the shorts so it helps separate the front and back. So you'll leave them like this overnight and then wash them in the morning. It's the next morning and I'm removing the plastic from the shorts. The first step before we actually wash the shorts is to rinse them. We want to remove any of that excess dye. So I'm turning the faucet on cold, and I'm going to start rinsing the shorts, and just make sure that the water runs clear before putting them in your washer, and then most of the dye has been removed. Now this dye is permanent, but it's always best to wash these items alone for the first couple of washes, just to make sure there's no extra dye left in there that might transfer onto other clothing. So I'm starting my washer on small, hot, cold, and it's on regular cycle. And then throw them in the washing machine, add a tiny bit of detergent, and you are good to go. Now when it comes to drying your clothes or drying your hand-dyed items, you can use your regular dryer. We don't have a dryer, so I like to hang dry everything, but for these, I like to lay them flat and let them dry that way. And here's how the shorts turned out. Now you see that white thread on the front, that pattern? Apparently that was not cotton. I didn't know that it was gonna stay white, but it was actually a pleasant surprise because I really like the detail and how it turned out. All of the thread on the shorts stayed white, so it must have been made out of polyester or something else, so it didn't take the dye. But I love the gradients. I think it was a lot of fun to do this project. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you did, and I will see you in the next video. If you guys do this project, also tweet me a picture or something because I would love to see. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.